Welcome to Made in Montgomery. I'm Susan Kenedy. For this edition, we start in Gaithersburg. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected businesses across our county deeply. But through these past several months, there have been some positive stories of resilience and innovation to tell. And one of those is Novavax. Their work on a coronavirus vaccine is getting national attention. The federal government is placing its bet on the development of a coronavirus vaccine with the Montgomery County biotech company Novavax.
And tonight, Maryland biotech company Novavax is in the hunt for a COVID-19 vaccine.
The Gaithersburg-based company has been awarded $1.6 billion to develop and distribute 100 million vaccines as early as the end of this year. The company began working on this technology back in January and has seen great success in recent trials.
We're pretty confident that it's going to work given our experience in animals. We've done multiple vaccines using this technology. And we've always found that whatever we see in animals, we see in people.
The funding is part of the Operation Warp Speed program launched by the federal government to make vaccines and treatments for the coronavirus available to the public as quickly as possible. Though several other biotech corporations across the country are working on a vaccine, Young explained why the Novavax technology stands out.
So these other technologies that have been sort of out in front of us are technologies where they inject something into you and they expect you to make the protein and then make an immune response against that COVID protein. In our case, we make the protein in big fermenters. We purify it, and then we inject the purified protein directly into you. And so your body doesn't have to do anything. You just have to have your immune response against that protein.
The grant will fund late-stage clinical trials, including a phase 3 human trial that will begin in October. Novavax is one of more than a dozen Montgomery County companies leading the charge on a coronavirus vaccine and treatments. Young says there is no place better to work on a solution to save lives.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Montgomery County probably is one of the best locations for biotechnology anywhere in the world.
The county has invested in Novavax in terms of making sure that they were a company who would continue to be able to thrive here in the county, whether it's some of the property tax abatement that we do and other kinds of things that attract these companies to the region. Guess what? It can actually pay off, and we're seeing that now. Not only in terms of what the financial aspects are, but from a public health standpoint as well, in terms of the potential of saving hundreds of thousands of lives. That's a big deal.
The Novavax award was the biggest yet from the Operation Warp Speed program. By early next year, the company hopes to be able to make 50 million doses a month in the United States. Novavax has partnered with another Montgomery County company, Emergent Biosolutions, who will help the company manufacture the millions of vaccines they plan to distribute. The I-270 corridor has become the biotech hub for the state of Maryland. And with that, all eyes are on Montgomery County as we await a cure for the coronavirus. Emergent Biosolutions is one of the companies that's been in the news quite a bit lately for its work around the COVID-19 pandemic. Headquartered in Gaithersburg, they made a name for themselves with the only FDA-licensed anthrax vaccine.
That essentially was the very beginning of our history and a very long-standing relationship with the U.S. government. In the early years, we manufactured Biothrax. We sold primarily to the Department of Defense for use on the troops. And from there, we began to diversify as a company. We've, over the years, executed a variety of different important strategic acquisitions. And those acquisitions have brought tremendous amount of talent and a tremendous amount of capability into our organization that has led us kind of on this journey throughout time to the point where here we are today, once again, bringing those capabilities and those talents to bear in the fight against COVID.
Emergent is partnering with Novavax, another Montgomery County biotech, to manufacture its experimental vaccine. The company is also working with Johnson & Johnson to manufacture their vaccine applications. Emergent began working with the federal government in 2012 to build a manufacturing facility in Baltimore to respond to a future pandemic. And that forward thinking has brought them to where they are today.
Both the Novavax relationship as well as the Johnson & Johnson relationship are really the perfect synergy between a great technology and a great capability in the form of what Emergent has to offer. So the ultimate timeline for the development and scale up commercial manufacturing of those vaccines is really dependent upon the platform itself. I oftentimes get the question of, well, how long does it take to produce tens of millions of doses of vaccine? And I often try to help people understand that on a product by product basis, the answer to that question is really dependent upon the yields of the individual manufacturing platforms and what they can produce. And each one of these companies has some different capable platforms.
And for biotechs like Emergent, who are working to dismantle COVID, Montgomery County is a great place to grow, where the necessary resources to succeed are within a 20-mile radius.
You know, we've always taken a lot of pride in being here. So there was always an intent to locate our headquarters in the Maryland area. It brings a lot of benefits to us. Health and Human Services is a primary partner and customer. We have the FDA. We've got important organizations like Novavax in the local community as well. So for us currently, we have a manufacturing plant in Rockville, Maryland. We have a fill finish facility in Baltimore, Maryland, and then we have the Center for Innovation and Advanced Development and Manufacturing facility that I was referring to earlier in partnership with the government. It's also in Baltimore. Our corporate headquarters is at 400 Professional in Gaithersburg, and we have a product development facility right down the hill in Gaithersburg as well. So we have a huge footprint here. Are really happy that we've been able to successfully grow in this region, and it's a wonderful talent pool. We've got a lot of fantastic, capable people who've come from the local community, and look forward to the future in the greater Montgomery County area.
Our next two stories feature companies who pivoted to make the coronavirus outbreak work in their favor. First, Lightningware, where a Montgomery County native and businessman stepped up and got creative to fight the outbreak. In just 2 short months, Dan Walsh's company, Lightningware, has gone from making lacrosse jerseys to face masks. The shift came after jersey orders dropped off, and his mother made the suggestion to get in the business of making masks to generate income.
We're laughing about it at first and said, hey, let's go do this. And so we started making masks and just sort of all snowballed from there.
The sports apparel company is located in Kensington, where a handful of employees are working around the clock to fill orders for customers across the country. So far, they've made more than 70,000 masks, making Lightningware an essential business helping to respond to the coronavirus pandemic.
Really, it started out as a lot of nursing homes, hospitals, but now it's kind of expanded with people starting to come back to work and stuff. So we've done roofing companies, you name it, Secret Service. I mean, we've got a lot of different companies, including the county, who's been great to us.
Montgomery County is purchasing the county flag masks for its frontline workers, a partnership this county native says he's grateful for. He's also getting orders from large corporations and hospitals. And with those orders, they are going through 4,000 to 5,000 yards of fabric per week.
Yeah, it's become a fashion statement also. And the custom thing, businesses from now on are going to have masks. You know, restaurants, bars, whatever's going to reopen in the near future or in the future period, you know, you're going to have to wear a mask to go in one. So, you know, the custom mask is kind of here for a while, I believe. You know, I don't see any ending anytime soon.
And Walsh's kids are getting a crash course in Business 101. They're responsible for taking orders and shipping all of the masks, which is done out of their home. He told us there's a running competition to see who can get the best customer service review.
And it's been, for me, a family experience, too, because I have 2 high school daughters and an 8th grader, along with my wife and son, that are all filling orders daily, and they're probably, we've routed some phone calls to them. So if you're calling in, they're some of the people answering the calls.
And Lightningware's bestseller?
You know, you got to go with either the Maryland flag or the USA flag. You know, we are shipping out all over. But it's amazing how many people in Boston and in New York and, you know, California that are buying Maryland flags because they love their flag, and so do we.
And now that the face mask has become such a hot commodity and a fashion statement of sorts, companies like Lightningware have found a new calling that they never dreamed would take them to where they are today.
And, you know, our volume's gone up from, how can I say, doing a couple of thousand a week to 10,000 a week or more, which is amazing. If you'd have told us that a month ago, I'd have laughed at you, but somehow we found a way to do it.
Next, we head to Rockville to True Respite Brewery, where a simple app saved hundreds of breweries from closing their doors during the COVID-19 crisis. Before Governor Larry Hogan shut down Maryland businesses in March,
we purchased all local ingredients for that beer.
Brendan O'Leary, who owns True Respite Brewery in Rockville, was noticing the coronavirus curve here in the United States was mimicking that of Italy.
We could see kind of the level of crisis that Italy was in. We took that to mean that was our future, and we said, what are we going to do when the tap rooms ultimately get shut down? So we decided collectively that the time was right to develop a platform for doing home deliveries.
That platform is BeerMe, a craft beverage delivery app that went live within 45 minutes of the governor's announcement. BeerMe took off like wildfire and is currently being used by dozens of breweries in 31 states for free. BeerMe offers craft beverage companies a vehicle to take online orders for delivery and carry out. O'Leary says through feedback he received, it was clear the app saved many businesses from closing down, including his own.
If we hadn't had a tool for selling home deliveries and doing curbside and contactless and keeping the beer flowing safely, I'm not sure what would have happened to our business, but that tool allowed us to keep our staff employed. Everyone who wanted hours here was getting hours. So our primary goal was pay rent, pay bills, keep everyone working.
So far, the app has generated more than $4 million in sales, which O'Leary says was his mission, to help his peers get through this crisis.
Bear, this label right here, our artists are just phenomenal.
As more states begin to reopen, O'Leary says they are preparing to begin monetizing BeerMe.
Hans, how are you, man?
True Respite opened its doors just 2 years ago.
Good to see you too, welcome back.
Councilmember Hans Remer worked closely with O'Leary to obtain the necessary zoning changes that were needed to open this business.
This business here is helping this county reinvent commercial land use. If you look around outside, you see an old commercial center, single story, lots of office. Not a place for vibrancy and life and hanging out and having fun. But there's a lot of neighborhoods around here where people would love to have some place to go with their friends. And this business said, that's the perfect kind of location for us to be in.
Well, the most common question that I get about that is, boy, it must have been terrible opening in Montgomery County, because there's a stigma that we're not open for business or they hate alcohol. And my experience could not have been further from the truth.
All your fellow brewers, which is what I love about the industry, is that there's such a culture of mutual support in the brewer industry.
It's the kind of business, Remer says, that makes Montgomery County stand out in a crowd.
Knowing that COVID was coming, they were ahead of the curve, recognizing the impact that it was going to have, and they built themselves an app so that they would be able to pivot and survive in a different retail environment. But what I love about it is then they said, wait, this is good for us, it's good for the industry.
O'Leary says he hopes the state's relaxed liquor laws that allow for BeerMe to operate will stay that way. But in the meantime, he's opened an outdoor beer garden.
They're going to go onto our website at beerme.com and then select a dine-in option. And then once they have that, you can see all of our beers on tap, and we'll just bring it right out to their table number.
Very easy, very quick, so no mistakes.
And is working hard to expand his business right here in Montgomery County.
It's a very community-oriented place. Depending on the day and the time, you might get a different crowd that you catch in here. We just installed a new 60-barrel tank, which represented almost a 30% capacity increase with that one tank. That tank alone holds almost 15,000 pints of beer. And we have it 3/4 full at the moment, and we're 3/4 filling it again for the next round. So we're almost at capacity again, even with that expansion. And we'd like to do more. Thank you, sir.
For more information about True Respite Brewery and hours you can visit, check out their website. So as you can see, Montgomery County is still a business leader even through this crisis. For County Cable Montgomery, I'm Susan Kenedy. Thanks for watching.